we're back for week number 6 of This Week in College Football. Doesn't seem like we've been doing it that long, has it?
No, time flies when you're having fun.
That's right, it does. Well, we got our first reports out on our show from our production company, and want to thank everybody that's been listening. It's been off the charts for their company, and we really appreciate it.
Yes, we do. And like we say, feel free to give us some feedback.
Well, today, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, but that 10-second rule just doesn't seem like it wants to leave us. Every day, something else comes out about it after it's already been
And tell us
shut
what Les
down.
Miles said.
Oh, Les.
I love Les.
Well, the Mad Hatter has come out and made his comments on the 10-second rule. This is from Saturday Down South website.
And they are profound.
Yeah. He says, let's see, Les Miles kept silent while the heated discussion took place over the last month, but he finally spoke out and said he was firmly against the proposed rule. He says, I find there's no reason to make a change unless you want to limit plays, slow the ball down being snapped, reduce scoring, and make college football less marketable. He also says that there's little or no evidence that would say an injury is likely. Having said that, the incidence of injury in football is 100%. Just say the guy hurts his hand. Why? Because he's playing football. He hurts his elbow. Why? Because he's playing football. Let's talk about fatigue, he says. If there's a guy out there and he gets tired, here's how we handle it. We played Auburn and Oregon in the same year and a number of teams that used up-tempo offense. Here's what happens. The guy goes like this, and he starts patting his head. He pats his head when he gets tired.
We send somebody in there.
Yeah. When the ball is stopped, he runs off the field quickly, and we run another guy on the field quickly. It just happens. As the time it takes to get on the far hash, it becomes a little difficult to do. Don't get me wrong, but the ebb and flow of the game has not been an issue for us. And let me say this again. The incident of an injury in football is 100%. If you play football, you're going to get hurt. Typical Les Miles.
I love Les Miles. He's profound. But he's right. He's right. I mean, and the whole idea of the hurry-up offense is to catch the other team off guard.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to be off guard, you've got to prepare your defense for that.
And back during the week leading up to the national championship game, every day there was something on, people talking, the commentators, and they had David Pollack on game day one day, and he was sitting there talking about it and talking about Auburn's offense and some of these other teams that run these up-tempo offenses, and he was talking about it that was cheating because linebackers are told to read the football, and if they don't know where the ball's going, they can't make a tackle.
Well, that's terrible.
David Pollack, you played defense at Georgia. I know that was just craziness. They're cheating because the linebacker can't read where the ball is. Well, that's the whole point of the offense.
Exactly. They want the linebacker to have trouble finding
They want
the ball.
everybody to have trouble finding the ball. He's crazy.
When Auburn took out for that 45-yard run, the first touchdown of the game, I didn't know where the ball was.
Well, a lot of times the cameramen don't know where the ball
I know
is.
it, exactly.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, that's the whole idea of it. If you want to, you got to stop it. You've got to defense it. And I think Nick Saban's starting to understand that, and he's even made some comments. Well, we can do that. We play good defense, and he is a defensive guru. So, I really don't understand the logic behind everything he's saying, but that's Nick, and I'm an Alabama fan. I love Nick Saban, but what we need to do is just get ready for that quick offense.
Well, another thing is Saban, he was the big the backbone behind this rule, I guess, trying to get it pushed. And this past weekend, we were doing some work here on our house, and I came in to eat some lunch, and I turned the TV on, and the 2011 SEC championship game was on between Alabama and Georgia. And to my surprise, Alabama gets the first down, gets right back up on the line of scrimmage before the chains move, runs the ball again. They did it 3 plays in a row.
Yes, That was 2 years ago.
And that was 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and Gary Danielson even said, now Nick Saban is, he's not a real big fan of the hurry-up offense, but I guess if it's working, he's going to run it.
That's right.
And he was.
He needed it then, He kept Georgia off guard, won the ball game, but, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's before any of this was even brought up, and he's the one that brought it up, and he's out there running the same thing. I didn't realize
throw a flag on that.
Well, in other news, Ole Miss is back in the news, and I wanted to do this. I wanted to read this story because of how Hugh Freeze handled this situation. And there's another player, and you'll know who I'm talking about when I start reading this story, who right before, about midway through the season, some allegations came out about another player, and nothing was done about it. Ole Miss defensive back Bobby Hill, this is from Black Sports Online. Ole Miss defensive back Bobby Hill is arrested for alleged sexual assault. Ole Miss defensive back Bobby Hill has been arrested by Oxford police as a result of an alleged sexual assault, according to a report by a local television station. Hill was taken to the detention center on Tuesday and is being held on $10,000 bond. Details of the alleged assault have not been released at this time, but more information on the incident in question will be likely detailed soon. Hugh Freeze, in a statement, says, "We're aware of the situation and recognize the proper authorities are responsible for the matter." He also said that on a statement to Saturday Down South that Bobby has been indefinitely suspended from the football activities while the process moves forward. We take this very seriously and will make decisions once the course of action is complete. Wasn't there somebody else that happened to about midway through the season last year?
Sure was. I think it was Jameson Winston, wasn't it?
And nothing happened. He never missed a day of practice.
No. But then again, they were on a national championship march.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to do anything then. You don't want to hurt your school, but these ball players, they don't mind hurting the school.
Well, maybe. I think Jimbo Fisher, I thought back, he should have, something should have happened when that happened with Jameis. And here, Hugh Freeze is kicked the guy off the team until
it's straightened out.
Until it's straightened out.
Well, you have sometimes where somebody gets in trouble and you want to stop it right there. And you want to get the fella off the team so in case it comes back to haunt you, he's not out there playing. Okay? In 2010, all this came up about Cam.
Mm-hmm.
They made the decision to go ahead and play. It worked out fine for them. And I guess it's going to work out fine for Jameson Winston. But you can't help but look at something's not right with the system.
Yeah.
When they put things off like that. And I'm not pinpointing anybody, but when they wait till the end of the season to see if you're innocent or guilty, something's not right about that process.
Yeah. Wait till after your championship game to make a decision, and after the Heisman Trophy.
Let's see what you do during the year, then we'll talk about your punishment at the end of the year.
Yeah.
In the real world, that's not the way it works.
Well.
And Ole Miss supposed to be building up this year. Had a great recruiting class.
Mm-hmm. Again,
and maybe they can get this straightened out, and I hope they do. But in the meantime, I hope the guy gets kicked off the team if he's guilty and he never plays another down.
He should. He'll go to a junior college somewhere and wind up at Auburn next year.
Well, if the guy's flying right, you can't condemn them, but you can sure put them away while they're guilty.
Well, I want to make a correction to something I said last week. I said Ole Miss had the number 1 recruiting class last year. I think they had the number 5 recruiting class last year.
But it felt like a number 1.
But it felt like a number 1 class. And in that story I just read, there was comments on it on the at the bottom of the page, and there was a lot of people blasting Ole Miss about that and talking about their players are all at the beach and it's spring break and they're all down at the beach partying, and they're not on spring break yet. So you can't believe everything you read online.
And something else, too. Seemed like I heard a story the other day about some players for either Georgia or Clemson have been suspended for their ball game.
I hadn't seen
Yes,
that yet.
I'm going to have to check on that because I made a note of that. And if it's Georgia, I mean, good grief, what can you do, Mark? I mean,
They've already had one player dismissed this spring or late winter.
and you gotta give kudos to a coach that if somebody's guilty, you got to kick them off the team. You got to sit them. And it might even be Dabo Swinney that is having to do it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought that up until I was exactly sure, but I did read that, and I've got it somewhere in my notebook, 200 pages. But that's who Georgia starts the season off with is Clemson, and that is a big game for both schools right there.
Yeah,
that's a make or break you game right there.
Mm-hmm. We found the report you were talking about, Andy, and it was Clemson. Clemson suspended 4 players for the season opener against Georgia. Says this is from CBS Sports. Clemson will be without 4 players, including 2 returning starters for the 2014
it's
season
that linebacker
opener.
too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. For the 2014 season opener at Georgia, as a result of team rules violations. Dabo Swinney said in a statement or announced on Tuesday, he says, "I'm disappointed to announce that these young men will miss the 2014 opener at Georgia." Swinney said in a statement, "A huge part of our program is teaching accountability, responsibility, and that there are consequences for your actions."
Amen.
Yeah, these are 4 good young men, but they still broke a team rule, and as a result, they will each miss a game. I'm hopeful that they will learn and grow from this and have a great 2014 season. Defensive end Corey Crawford is one of them. 2 offensive linemen David Beasley and Shaq Anthony, and defensive back Gary Peters.
And Corey Crawford's going to make a difference with them.
Corey Crawford started 12 games at defensive end.
He was instrumental last year.
Mm-hmm. He started 12 games. Crawford started 12 games at defensive end last year. Had 10.5 tackles for a loss and 3 sacks. On the offensive line, Beasley started 7 games at left guard, and Shaq Anthony started 3 games at right tackle. Needless to say, these are going to be big losses for Clemson.
Sure will.
Headed into the high-profile rematch of last season's 38-35 win over Georgia.
I tell you, that's going to be something there, and it gives some of these other Clemson players a chance to step up and be stars, and maybe somebody will take that guy's place.
Yeah,
I mean that's what you hope for, because that's how this recruiting, like with Georgia losing the ball players they lost last year. The boosters and the athletic director, they still expect you to win.
Yeah.
Because when you have those kind of recruiting classes, you've got to have those boys ready to step in, take the place of injured players or troublemakers.
Well, another thing, too, is, that's 4 starters they're losing. Well, they're also lost to graduation in the NFL. It's Taj Boyd and Sammy Watkins.
Exactly. So
that was most of their offense right there.
So Clemson's going to have a lot to show that day.
They'll find
kudos to Dabo Swinney for risking a loss and setting his standards.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
Hey, the football's not so important that you let people break the rules and keep playing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you stop that, when it starts, that's how you get a program on the right track.
I wonder what's going to happen with Georgia between now and then. They've already had one player get in trouble.
Yep. I mean, I know Mark Richt's just sitting there, with his fingers crossed every day. Because, he needs a season this year. And I've always liked Georgia, the SEC team. They're a powerhouse. But like I said in a couple of shows ago, they always manage to blow a game that really hurts them.
It's just not just Georgia and Clemson and Alabama and Auburn. It's every team in the country has the same problem.
But the higher profile the team, the more you hear about it. Yeah, well, I'm not going to mention another school. I don't want to get anybody mad, but I would like for them to call in. But some of these schools that aren't high profile, the same things are happening. These boys are getting in trouble on spring break. They're kids, but you got to watch them.
Yeah.
But on a high profile team, it hurts, and it's nationwide.
We're coming up on our first break. And there's a lot more stuff we got going on this week. So what we got, Andy?
Well, I tell you, just real quickly, I want to tell you that the golf team's meeting Obama. Alabama's national championship golf team's going up there to meet the president, and that's a great honor. And I'm proud of them, and hopefully they can compete this year and keep the SEC in that top echelon.
We'll be back.
We do have the draft, some more draft news from some SEC ball players.
We'll be back.
Hello, I'm Robert McKay, Mayor of Asheville, Alabama, and candidate for House Seat 30, covering North St. Clair and Southern Etowah County. I would love to represent you in this district. I'm a pro-business, and I believe in small government and less taxes. I can relate to all the people. I am a small business owner, drive a bus for the St. Clair school system, and can relate to all the working men and women in this district. I'm a strong believer in education. Educated people will enrich our economy. I ask for your support in the June 3rd Republican primary. Please visit my Facebook page at robertmckay.33449 for more information. This is a paid political advertisement by friends of Robert McKay. Thank you.